I was right. Note the lack of surprise.
What's up, guys? Quick post-fight review. I need to keep my voice down with this one because it's 5:30 in the morning and I need to get some sleep. I don't want to wake anybody up, so yeah, I just got done watching Devin Haney versus George Kambosos. What can I really say? The fight went exactly as I thought it would go. As soon as I heard that this fight was in negotiation, I said from day one in every video I talked about it and every live stream, every comment section, I said from day one, it's going to be a wide, clear, easy, boring, pretty standard unanimous decision for Devin Haney. I talked in the build-up of this fight about how a lot of boxing fans on the YTBC and a lot of casuals, one of the biggest problems that they have is a lack of consistency. And in regards to George Kambosos, I think he's a prime example of that, because going into his last fight against Teofimo Lopez, he wasn't very highly regarded. Nobody really thought much of him, and he was just considered a standard, easy, mandatory opponent. And the people that had really studied Kambosos going into that fight and looked at his previous performances thought that he was very lucky to even have a winning record. I mean, to even beat the likes of a shot Mickey Bay and a shot Lee Selby, both by close split decisions. He was fortunate in both of those fights, put it that way. He could have easily been on the losing end of those fights. And yeah, going into the Teofimo fight, you know, he was known as a guy who was a bit of a slapper, not really a big puncher, not really a great athlete, terrible defense, terrible technique, you know, terrible balance, terrible overall skill. He just wasn't considered that good a fighter. But because he beat Teofimo Lopez, in again another close fight in a split decision, another fighter who really was overrated. I said from day one, Teofimo Lopez, complete fraud. Beating him did not impress me in the slightest. And yeah, I was never one of these people who bought the hype about Lopez. I was never one of these people who bought the hype about Kambosos. So yeah, there's a few people who left me some interesting comments on my last video. I wonder if they'll be back, you know, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, what can I say? You guys should have really known what was going to happen here. This was one of the most predictable fights I've seen this year. Very, very easy fight to call. Devin Haney was the bigger man. Devin Haney was the more skilled fighter of the two, better technique. Devin Haney was the guy who had more just natural athletic ability, you know, looked stronger, looked thicker, looked physically more imposing, longer reach, better footwork. George Kambosos, I'm not saying that Haney is a great fighter or anything like that. He's certainly not. He's certainly got flaws, but George Kambosos, like I said, he was a fighter who, in my personal opinion, and the opinions of most boxing fans who watched him going into his previous fight, he was a fighter who was lucky to even have a winning record, okay? Probably one of the worst fighters, in my opinion, to ever win a world title. And the fact that he became Undisputed Champion is utterly hilarious and quite depressing, to be honest. It really puts the concept of Undisputed in a negative light, doesn't it? When you got a guy that bad, that crap, winning an Undisputed title. So yeah, this was an embarrassment for a lot of people in the YTBC, and it stands as another of many examples of how inconsistent and how short-sighted many boxing fans are. So yeah, wide win from Devin Haney. I didn't see anything from Devin Haney in there that tells me that he's an elite fighter or he's got anything special about him. I just saw another pale Mayweather imitation. I saw another Adrian Broner, another Andre Berto. I didn't see anything special from Devin Haney. Devin Haney to me has never looked impressive, but this to me was one of his easiest fights. And I said that going into the fight. I think Zara Abdullayev is a better fighter than George Kambosos. I think Jorge Linares, even the version of Linares who Devin Haney fought, I think that version of Linares is a better fighter than George Kambosos. Even I would give Gamboa a good chance of beating George Kambosos. I'm not even kidding. The guy's so limited. Like, he had his left hand down by his waist, and wasn't even moving his head, just walking into jabs. When he would throw his right hand, he would throw it completely out of range and with such poor technique. And this is not even anything new. George Kambosos has always been that kind of fighter. George Kambosos is one of those guys who I think was, like I said, he was very fortunate to have a winning record. He was a guy who got very, very lucky that he was awarded decisions with that really nobody would have argued too harshly if they took it off him, you know. So it is what it is, man. It's very late. I haven't really had time to fully process it because, you know, I was only kind of half watching the fight, if you know what I mean. I was kind of uninterested in it because I saw the first round, I saw the second round. I'm like, yes, this fight's going the way I knew it would go, and I was kind of drifting in and out of of interest, if you know what I mean. I watched the whole fight, don't get me wrong, but I was looking away and, you know, doing something on my other laptop while I was watching it. I wasn't like fully engrossed by it because I knew all along, like from the opening bell, I knew how it was going to go. Like, Devin Haney's just going to cruise to a easy decision victory. He's going to spoil and clinch when he needs to. Kambosos is going to beat his chest and try and pretend to be a tough guy, a hard man, but he's just going to get embarrassed. And yeah, this was an embarrassing event. It was an embarrassment for the boxing fraternity that so many people called this a 50-50 fight. This was an easy fight to pick. So yeah, easy fight for Devin Haney. Embarrassment for a lot of people in the YTBC. And maybe if I feel like it, I'll do another video. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe talk about where Devin Haney goes from here. How do I see fights against the likes of Tiafimo and Lomachenko and guys like that? I don't know, man. We'll see. But beating George Kambosos doesn't impress me. I, again, never thought much of George Kambosos. And we'll probably never hear about him at world level ever again. I hear there's a rematch clause. Yeah, I don't see the rematch happening, and I'm not interested in it. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. God bless.